Welcome to 30 Days of Marketing Mavens. 30 days, 30 experts, 30 marketing niches. Brought to you by Profit Master Business Solutions. More leads, more sales, and more revenue for your small or medium-sized business. Click findnewrevenue.com to learn more. Now here's your host, Howard Walpoff.
All right, thank you again for joining us on 30 Days of Marketing Mavens. Again, I'm Howard Walpoff, and this is brought to you by Profit Master Business Solutions. I'm great to have you today. I have another amazing expert here for you. His name is Tim Hughes. He's the #1 global social selling pioneer and innovator. He's the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite, where the focus is the transformation of the whole organization. He's created the 5-step social selling methodology, and his blog became the go-to place for people wanting to learn and share knowledge on selling in the connected world. He's also an author, and his book for salespeople, social selling, influencing buyers, and change makers. Tim, welcome to the conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Howard. Exciting to be here.
So your focus obviously has been sales through much of your career. Let's start with, how did you get involved in sales?
I was involved in a social selling transformation in about 2015 in a large IT organization.
Okay.
From that, I went ahead and wrote my first book, which you mentioned, Social Selling Techniques to Influence Buyers and Change Makers.
And so what led you to the focus of having to make or introduce this type of transformation for people?
Well, we found that the buying process has changed. Traditionally, people interrupt you either through advertising, email, or phone calls. And people just don't want to put up with that anymore. And they now block all of those things. Either you block the emails, you block the phone calls, and you block adverts. And so it's very difficult to get to the people that you want to influence using old school techniques. And what we find is that using things like social, which is where your customers are, is the best way to get and progress your message.
And it's the evolution of just general conversations that people are having. But again, being on social and having your target audience there, I can see where that, especially some of the things I've done, where you can get a response where the general emails and phone calls at this point, people know very clearly how to ignore and delete.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 things that we think that you need to do. First and foremost, you need to have a profile. You need to be active. So some people call it as a personal brand, but it sounds a bit detailed. Basically, you need to have a profile, which is your shop window to the world. Usually that would be on LinkedIn. And what you're trying to do is attract people. So saying that you're the world's best salesperson isn't going to attract people, because what you're looking to do is get buyers to actually come to you, or buyers to, if you reach out to them, buyers to be attracted or engage with you. Obviously, if you look like a spammer, you're likely to be blocked and no one will actually talk to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to have a network. That's not a whole bunch of contacts. That's not connecting with people and hoping. That's actually going out and building a strong network of people that you can have conversations with. As a salesperson, you need to be connected to everybody that you would want to sell to on your in your territory. And the third thing is that you need to create content. And you need to be part of conversations. You know, there's a saying, which is very true, that if you're not part of the conversation, you won't be seen. So you won't get on the shortlist. So you need to go out and engage. You need to have conversations, and you need to create content. And either you create it yourself or you need to curate content. And that's about showing to people that you're an expert. You know, if you say that you're a storyteller, then I would expect on your LinkedIn profile proof of that. If you say that you're an expert in selling accounting systems, I would expect proof of that on your LinkedIn profile. If you say that you're in digital transformation or supply chain, I would expect proof of that and evidence of that on your LinkedIn profile. And they're very simple and easy things that you can do, and things that we would recommend to salespeople to do.
So LinkedIn profile is equating to advertising, starts off as your billboard. It really, the first thing that people are driving by or clicking through, they're finding you, and there's key information they're looking for to capture their attention.
Absolutely right, Howard. It's your billboard or your shop window. And you know, if you're walking down a high street, and the shop window is empty, you're just going to walk by. You're looking to attract people. People come to my profile and connect with me and say, you have an interesting profile, I'd like to connect with you. And then I have the opportunity to, whenever I post content, they have the opportunity to put that content in front of them, which at some point they may actually go, do you know, I want a social selling program. I think I'll give Tim Hughes a call. And that's one of the ways that you can, that we would actually use social as part of the sales process.
Now, you mentioned that approximately 2015 is when you started doing a lot of this. When did it actually change? When did it become harder for people just to make those solid 30, 40 cold calls on a given day, hoping for business really to be developed at that point?
Well, we've seen it. I mean, our research shows that it's been getting more difficult every year. We proved an ROI of social selling. It'll be 6 years ago this April. I wrote an article about a friend of mine who's getting 10 C-level meetings through Twitter a week. And that's six years ago this April. So, you know, ROI of social selling is proven. So if you're not using social selling right now, you're leaving money on the table. That's a fact. What we've found, certainly in Europe, GDPR, which came into being on the 25th of May, 2018, basically interruption fell off the cliff. Any form of interruption marketing, email, cold call, completely fell off the cliff in Europe. And certainly we've not seen those sort of things really being effective in Europe since about 2018. Certainly the feedback that we're getting from our partners and resellers in the United States, that this is certainly with the CCPA regulations coming in force in California on the 1st of January this year, we're seeing a similar sort of fall off in terms of the ability to reach out to people. And of course, you know, standard iOS 13 stops cold callers. So all you have to do is one switch of your general settings, and you gain your life back. So you know, it's not just legislation, but it's technology that's aiding the death of those old legacy methods.
And that's a big challenge to those who are A, set in their ways, or B, don't have the understanding yet of how to make those steps into social and interact with people in a different way.
Yeah, and a lot of that is people are scared. I mean, we work with a lot of organizations because they're scared that they're not relevant. And certainly if you're using those methods, you probably are not relevant to the certainly a modern buyer, and may even not be to the modern world. And a lot of people are scared. And what we do is that we help organizations to get over that and to regain their relevance, and to give them a prospecting and a sales methodology that works in the modern age.
And if they don't evolve, then they're going to unfortunately die off. And that's really the challenge for these companies and salespeople, to make sure that they are, again, the good word, relevant. And so within that, what would be your number one strategy that's really working well for you and your clients and the people you interact with to achieve their marketing goals?
The number one strategy for us is to do those three things, which is to empower people. So not to tell people, but to empower them to speak on social in their own voice. So not to push out marketing content that you can't push out through other channels and then suddenly think you can push it out through social, but to empower people, whatever department they're in: sales, marketing, human resources, supplies, procurement, any department. Empower them to talk on social. And what you'll find is each of those departments will gain benefit in their own right. And you will also get the benefit of looking good on social. So you will actually get the candidates you want. You will get the business that you want. Sure. It's 2020. This is what you should be doing. And certainly the clients that we have that are doing it are just, you know, it's transformational, and it's transformational to their business. And we're seeing them, you know, like that.
I think it's key, the thing you said with potential future employees, seeing that presence on social, because so many people, that's their focus, is amazing today. Where I joke with prospects and some of my clients that it kills me when I go to someone's Facebook page and they did a great job of setting things up in 2017 with a couple of photos and made up 2 posts and have never gone back again. And that sends a message to people who are looking at you, not only to work there, but just doing business with you, where you just dropped the ball visually in your storefront.
Yeah, everybody now has has to have a social profile, and there's a passive and there's an active profile. So there's the passive, as in what you set up, and then there's what you're posting from an active perspective.
Exactly.
And everybody, if I'm going to go and work at an organization, I'm going to look people up. I'm going to judge what the culture of the organization is like based on what I see on social. Google is a great example of how, everybody wants to work at Google or Facebook. And the reason for that is what they've done is that they've externalized their culture. You know that you're going to sit in a hammock and eat jelly beans all day. You're not going to ask how much I'm going to get paid, because you want to work there. And having, it's not about your website or how difficult the recruitment process is. You will want to work at somewhere if they have a fantastic profile on social. And that's not just about sales or marketing. That's about empowering everybody across the organization. And that, importantly, needs to be driven from the top down.
Exactly. And that's really where you come in, and you work with companies from the top down.
Yes.
To make sure that this is getting embedded into the mindset, and then put out there for this sales process for them.
Absolutely. It's got to be driven from the top down. Way back in 2014, when I first started working on social selling and a big rollout, that was driven by the VP of sales.
So what is the best way for companies and individuals to reach out to really learn more, to become empowered like this?
Well, all of the DLA Ignite people are active on social. Obviously, we see ourselves as a high watermark in terms of our activity. So contact any of us. I'm active on LinkedIn. So I'm Timothy Hughes, or Tim Hughes. I'm also available on Twitter. And we have our website, which is dlaignite.com.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for sharing this.
You're welcome, Howard.
Really opening the door for a lot of people to think more and to act more within themselves for their companies as well. You're absolutely a great resource, and this is, people need to be knowing how to use social for sales and getting that really getting the confidence they need to put that content out there. So thank you so much. I really hope
you're welcome, Howard. A great initiative. Thank you.
Well, thank you again, and thank you for joining us today. I really hope that you take Tim words to heart and contact him and get your companies involved, because if you're a salesperson and you know that you're having issues getting people to pick up the phone, these are answers that are out there and work, and what your company needs to be doing. So check out everything else that we have for 30 days of Marketing Mavens, all the different interviews we have available for you. Again, brought to you by Profit Master Business Solutions. Go out, have a great day today, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Howard.